Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick were all set to open on Broadway when COVID came to town. Happily, curtain going up on better times.
Hi.
Hi.
Isn't it strange? It's Groundhog's Day.
Much of the pandemic has felt that way, like our visit with actors Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. 2 years ago, we met at this very spot.
The two of you have worked together before, but never as husband and wife.
And never worked like this.
Certainly not like this.
When did a troupe of actors on Broadway ever experience having a show, closing down the theater, and 2 years later coming back?
Yeah.
That's never happened.
No, not even close, I don't think.
Back in March of 2020,
This is room 719.
Suite 719.
Plaza Suite had just arrived on Broadway
I couldn't impose like that.
after a sold-out run in Boston.
I'm one of the people that saw Plaza Suite in Boston. I was there.
We had the flu.
We had a very bad flu, which I'm still questioning. I enjoy the mystery of, was that the flu or was that COVID?
And just as they were about to begin the first performance in the Hudson Theater, Broadway went dark.
We were on this side when they told us, the governor said we had 20 minutes to
Yes,
clear out.
I
We
remember
were
that.
in this area somewhere.
Thinking they'd be back in a couple of weeks, not 2 years. But in that time-honored tradition, the show must go on.
Why is that so
It was a priority for both of us. I mean, sincerely. And as dates were shifting, this play stood kind of in the center of everything.
And trying to guess patterns of a pandemic are impossible.
In the early days of the pandemic, the couple did what many people at home were doing.
Well, at first I was very like, well, I'll make the most of it and make some beans. And then somebody called me a bean dad or something, some incredibly derogatory word about people who were making beans.
Who
So
soaked beans overnight?
no more beans.
And they've both been busy,
Oh my God, she just blocked me on Instagram.
reprising her role as the iconic Carrie Bradshaw. And he's starring in an upcoming series about the opioid crisis. But before all the movies and television shows, there was Broadway. Matthew Broderick has been a Broadway star since his first Tony at 21 as Neil Simon's alter ego in Brighton Beach Memoirs. And at 13, she was Broadway's beloved little optimist, Annie.
I'd like to be an optimist, but
They live longer.
Is that
I know
right?
because apparently I'm not one, and,
Your doctor
but
tell
I'm
you?
married to one. He's going to outlive me. They do live. They're wrong, but they live.
you should do a Neil Simon
That's the
play.
spirit.
Are you sure it's not the 14th?
I go through this with you every year. When it comes to money or dates or ages, you're absolutely unbelievable.
Neil Simon's Plaza Suite is a comedy about changing marital mores in the 60s.
It occurs to me, 1968 wasn't a great year, but doesn't it feel good to go back in time, to get out of this century and revisit 1968 in a way that feels different than it would have been 2 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
For better or worse, women's roles and men's roles, sexual politics, economy, class, culture. It really is of its time.
What's going on here? What's going on? Are you going to tell me where Mimsy is?
Are you gonna take an oath you're not gonna blame me?
I take it.
Parker and Broderick playing 3 couples in 3 acts.
It looks spectacular.
This was her first visit to the theater in 2 years.
This is what Karen wears under her. We shouldn't show this, but yeah,
Oh,
to
let's
give her
show
some
it.
extra weight.
Let's just show it.
They found dressing rooms, her makeup, candy, costumes, eerily, just as they were.
This is what happened during the pandemic to many of us.
Not very soft.
The set ready to go,
Gosh, it sure is beautiful.
and the stars getting there.
Roy goes out on the ledge to try to sneak into Mimsy's room. That's that ledge.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Oh,
and
sorry,
then
spoiler
and then
alert.
things happen.
Do you still think you're going to be able to get out there? Well, don't do it right now because you don't have the right shoes
I might need some sort of rigging.
Funny to find everything stayed the same when everything is so different.
You were supposed to be way, way moved on past Plaza Suite,
Yeah.
and the prospect of learning lines.
I thought they would come right back. They did not.
Please
very
tell the
bad.
story without naming names of the person.
I just was on stage with a lot of people and an actor who had a lot of lines coming up. And he grabbed another actor. I was standing right near them and said, "What's the name of the woman I'm about to talk about? Her name, I can't remember her name."
I used to do that on live television at the end of an interview.
Yeah.
I would say, "Thank you for being here."
Yeah.
You know, gone.
Sure. I forget names in this play all the time. 'Cause sometimes I just say a name that pops into my head and nobody minds, but then I have to
Jesse has all
remember
these
what I change it
ex-wives
to.
and the names that he says rather than the names Neil wrote.
Yeah.
Pretty amusing.
In 5 days, the theater doors will open again.
We feel confident that this time round we'll at least get to
Yeah.
leave the gate.
And the show goes on.
For God's sake, Miriam, what are you so nervous about?
Matthew Broderick, you've got people who are going to come and see anything he's in, I'm in.
And that's 30, 40 people right
30
there.
or 40.
Yeah.
And then your devoted Sex and the City generation.
We'll see.
She'll come out, just talk nicely to her.
We already had nice talking, now we're gonna have door breaking.
It was such an amazing experience in Boston. I just hope we can somehow find our way back there because this is a very wonderful play.
No, Roy, don't!